Yo, what is going on, everyone in the crypto space? Thank you guys for tuning in the channel today. Really do appreciate it. Now, this quarter, guys, the paradigm shift will finally begin where XRP will actually be in use by the banking industry. We've had absolute proof. The European bank, EuroXM Bank, they announced XRP usage across 80 countries in which they operate, and they are going live this quarter and actually stated they hope to see a lot of other banks take the same path. Here's the thing, guys. I don't care what the heck the price of XRP is right now. The fact is, Ripple and XRP are both a Trojan horse into the banking industry, and they have no clue what's coming until competitors and other banks start slashing their rates immensely. BTech, for example, is actually using Ripple technology, and overnight they're able to cut their rate from $20 to $2 for remittance, and they actually saw an 800% spike in user activity overnight. The thing is, guys, this is a true paradigm shift, and we're actually seeing a bank actually go live this quarter, but we've been told for so long that banks would never want to use XRP. And do you guys really think that this quarter, this is going to be the only bank launching on XRapid? Because I don't think so, because the whole benefit to becoming a part of the RippleNet is that all the whole point of the network is the fact that you can connect to as many banks and financial institutions as possible. So who in their right mind would just have EuroXM Bank go live for this quarter and that's it? The whole reason banks want to go live on XRapid on the RippleNet is to tap into other banks doing the exact same thing, to start creating business relationships and setting up quarters with each other so they can bypass the very expensive correspondent banking system. And guys, the paradigm shift, I don't care what anyone says, it's happening. I don't care if I see people in the comments saying, oh, we're still at 32 cents, oh man, this sucks, we deserve more. No, by the way, if you say you deserve XRP, I've seen people saying they deserve XRP to go up. That's completely not true. You're just investing on top of the ecosystem. That was your choice. It owes you nothing, but we're just participating in the growth of the ecosystem, by the way. So here's the thing, guys. Ripple has 29 total investors. They got a lot of, they're not for sale, what do you call it? They're not, a public company, or they do not have public investors, but they do have private investors, and that number goes to 29, and a lot of these investors are a lot of big banks and financial institutions. And by the way, when you come to the RippleNet community, all these banks right here, Mitsubishi Bank of Tokyo, fourth largest bank in the world, Bank of America, Royal Bank of Canada, Santander, Standard Chartered, and Westpac, the reason why they're on the RippleNet community, or you call it essentially the board of directors, is because they're actually invested into the company. When you have big name banks like these people investing into the company, they want to do what's best to actually catapult the value of what they just invested in. So having one bank go live this quarter absolutely does not make any sense, in my opinion. And what happens, guys, is that when we're actually beginning to move cryptocurrency in general by using XRP, XRP is moving from concept into reality this quarter. Yes, right now we do have financial institutions like payment service providers. They are actively using XRapid as we speak, but they are smaller institutions, and the volume is quite insignificant in the grand scheme of the 24-hour volume of the actual ecosystem. But the thing is, though, we're now going to the first bank to actually use XRP. And again, who invests in Ripple? A lot of banks. That's why they're on the RippleNet community, because they are big investors of the company, and their banks are smart. They know what is going to drive the value of what they just invested in, and that is launching a product, getting the product out there, and getting the product being used by banks. And here's the thing, when all of a sudden we have a plethora of, I don't know how many banks are going to live this quarter, but I can tell you guys this, I honestly have the biggest feeling in the world it's going to be a lot more than one. Because again, like I mentioned earlier, the whole point of the network is to have access to as many institutions as possible. Why would EuroXM Bank want to go on XRapid and just be the only bank on there? It makes absolutely zero sense. And again, we've heard from a plethora of other institutions like the Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority and the United Arab Emirates central banks collaborating together on a Ripple platform, as well as UAE Exchange went to go live in Q1, as well as Senfren and Transfer were going live in Q1 as well. So I believe this quarter, guys, we're going to see a lot of onboarding of clients getting that product actually into the banking industry. Because, guys, with these investors investing in the company, I mean, at one point or another, they got to get the product out there, because the utility of that product by other banks and experiencing mass adoption is going to make all of these guys money. All their 29 investors are going to make money on top of this, and they know that they got to get this product product that uses digital assets into these banks because they can save a boatload of money doing it. That's going to put banks in panic. When your competitor all of a sudden slashes rates by 80%, yeah, you're essentially, your company is going to be doing some seriously rethinking about what you can do better to now actually be more competitive. And obviously you can do that through the RippleNet. So banks are going to be absolutely in a panic. And I think honestly, when this really does happen and EuroX Bank is as of that current time actually using XRP as the press releases spread, tier 1 banks know they're going to be threatened. They're going to be threatened by this system, and it's going to be taking over a lot of small to medium enterprises, and it's going to be putting a lot of banks in panic. Guys, remember, this is business. It is straight war. When you all of a sudden cut your competitors' rates by 80 to 90%, the consumer-facing rate, there's going to be some serious panic, which will then indulge them to want to actually hop onto the RippleNet and get the same capabilities as their competitor who just so happens to be slashing the rates. And I'm telling you guys, we're going to see a very big peak in interest as soon as it actually starts being used in the banking industry. Because all this time, I feel like the one problem that's been stopping people from getting interested in Ripple and XRP is that it's still concept. Like all cryptocurrency is just concept, except for XRP now. It's really it's like in the middle of a transition between concept and reality. We have Xcurrent live and being used, but XRapid really does need to scale and get more usage. Xcurrent's live in 40 banks, 40 countries and 6 continents in the world. But actually moving cryptocurrency utility from concept into reality is a very strong statement, because it's much more impactful to say we are doing this versus we are going to do this. We are going to do this doesn't really entice your competitors as much as we are using it right now, and we have cut our consumer facing rate right now. So I'm telling you guys, when this goes live, when the first bank starts to use XRP, guys, pay attention to the media. Really pay attention to the media when this happens. I just want to see what all the media is going to say, and then all the buzz about the first bank ever in the world being publicly announced to be using XRapid and XRP for transfers and cutting their competitors' rates. Like absolute madness. Pay attention to the press that day when in this quarter, guys, it's happening in this quarter, EuroX and banks going live with XRP. And guys, this is a huge development because we've been told our whole time in this ecosystem that no banks would ever use XRP. And guys, it's not going to be just one bank using XRP this quarter. Because again, Ripple right now, I don't think you guys know, I did report on this last month. Ripple is focusing right now as we speak to scaling XRP to 10,000 transactions per second. And right now, the network can handle 1,500, but only the actual range of the transactions per second is actually between 6 to 10. Now, compared to 1,500, that's a pretty big leap, and really right now the current transaction rate per second for XRP is really being quite substantial and sustainable for the current consumer use. Now, if Ripple only planned to launch one bank this quarter, why would they be worried about scaling XRP to 10K transactions per second? The reason why Ripple is scaling XRP to 10,000 transactions per second, even though 1,500 is well more than enough for current standards, they're scaling it to 10K because they do know there is a plan for big deployment on this product. They're not going to launch this product and have barely anyone start using it, or else these guys are going to be thinking they made a bad investment. So these guys are going to do, again, they're on the board of directors for Ripple. They are on the RippleNet community, so they do partake in making decisions for the company. It's they're going to want to get this product out there and get a lot of RippleNet members using it. Guys, there are over 200 partners with Ripple that all have the potential to launch on XRapid. I don't care if they said they're using Xcurrent in the past, blah, 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 whatever. Brad Garlinghouse is even saying that they're seeing more and more customers flip the switch and leverage XRP for on-demand liquidity. And most likely have heard from other institutions that, yes, they do want to actually come on and use XRP, especially banks. And guys, with the 200 plus clients they have, they know at one point or another, those 200 clients are going to be using XRP. Because guys, Dylan Browse even said, the process that Ripple is taking is getting them first on an Xcurrent, getting them comfortable with blockchain, getting them getting the savings, but still using the technology. And then you warm them up to XRapid, where you source liquidity on demand. Then the final holy grail, his words, not mine, is getting them to hold XRP. So at one point or another, all 200 customers are going to be leveraging XRP. The RippleNet is built around the XRP ecosystem. Xcurrent, XVIA, XRapid all have the capabilities to seamlessly integrate with XRP, and all the products work with each other. RippleNet is being built around the XRP ecosystem, and therefore their 200 plus clients, which I think is actually a lot more than 200 by now, but to have these 200 plus clients use this technology, they're going to need to scale the network past 1,500 transactions per second, because we're talking about banks who flow billions in remittance transfers each day and cross-border transactions. So that's why, guys, really just the sort of nugget right here is that they're scaling to 10K TPS, and that really says a lot of things, because right now that 1,500 transaction per second limit isn't really even being threatened at this point. It's still so far, the usage is still so far below that point. Why are they scaling to 10K TPS? Because they know that there's a big plan for onboarding launch. Again, guys, the 29 investors in Ripple, they want a product to come out there. They want a product to be mass adopted so that their value, the stake in the company actually goes up. And you can bet your ass that on their board of directors in the RippleNet community, they are wanting to get this product out and going and get as many banks on as possible. And again, while they do a small number of banks, the whole value of the RippleNet is getting on as many banks as possible. And guys, that is why their 200 plus clients, they are going to use XRP in the future. I don't care what anyone says. RippleNet is clearly being built around the XRP ecosystem and is being treated as priority because it provides the most savings when banks leverage this currency, essentially. So that's why, guys, they're scaling to 10K TPS, because they know in the future there's a big onboarding plan to leverage XRP, because that's where the bulk of the savings is at. Because why else would they be scaling to 10K TPS if 1,500 isn't even like being close to even threatened quite yet? That's what tells us that they are planning to have a big onboarding of institutions leveraging XRP, because why in the world would they be scaling to 10K TPS if they plan to only have a couple banks go live this quarter? So that's kind of my rant for today, guys. I just wanted to kind of sort of almost, I don't know if that was motivation or more of a preach, but really the thing is, guys, I don't care what the price of XRP is right now. Ripple and XRP is a Trojan horse in the banking industry, and they have no idea what's about to hit them. And this quarter, we're about to see a huge slash in banking rates. Not just one bank. It's going to be more than one bank, guys. I'm telling you, trust me on this. They're not going to have just one bank come on. That's absolute nonsense. The whole value of the RippleNet is not to be there on by yourself, is to be there with as many institutions as possible to set up these business relationships for corridors to bypass the correspondent banking system. So guys, this quarter, the paradigm shift begins. We are out of concept and into reality that banks are going to be using XRP, and other banks are going to be very knowledgeable of what is going on based on press and media. And it's absolutely, we're going to start seeing the paradigm shift finally take place. Out of these 2 years I've been in here in concept, this quarter we are moving into the reality, and the reality is a lot of banks are about to come onto RippleNet and utilize XRP. There's no doubt about that. There is literally zero reason for them at the current utility rate to scale the 10K TPS. We're doing like anywhere from 6 to sometimes as high as 20 transactions per second taking place on the network. 1,500 isn't even getting close to being touched. The reason why they're scaling the 10K TPS is because of big onboarding. And again, guys, they don't have almost 30 total big name bank or venture capitalist investors, because they're gonna have a product be used by just one bank. Guys, this quarter, the paradigm shift is beginning. I'll see you guys in the next one.